Wait, we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank y'all so much for joining us again today. Let me cue up my theme song, guys. I just got everything situated.
Real Rich J. Boots on the ground. It's the real Mr. Rich J. Boots on the ground. It's the real Mr. Rich J. Boots on the ground. It's the real Mr. Rich J. Boots on the ground.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Today's the panel. I've got a couple of guests. Thank you, Sway, for showing up. Michael Alexander says, "We love you, Cal. I love you back." There's Ellen Mercado. Thanks for the super chat. She says, "I'm going to open up with one love, Calvin." I appreciate that. What's up, Will Sutton? He said, "Keep it going." Thanks for that super chat. Shout out to the NTZ crew. Thank y'all so much for everything you do for this channel. I mean that. I want to say, I want to give a shout out to all the new viewers and subscribers who are watching me for the first time. Anybody's going to be watching this replay, and also my old heads like Will Sutton, Gerald Wilkins, Phil Thomas. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce the panel. Of course, we always have a topic. The topic today is, what are you bringing to the table? We can't get something for nothing. But if this is your live stream, so we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. But we've got a new guy to the panel. I'm going to let him introduce himself first. Go ahead, Chris.
My name is Chris Williams. Grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. Currently live in Atlanta. And been to the Philippines many times. And actually married a Filipino back in 2008. I'm a career firefighter. I'm a retired firefighter. I'm an ER nurse. And also in the Georgia Army National Guard.
Oh, man. Thanks for your service, brother. As a matter of fact, the first thing I've got written down here is, there was a helicopter crash in Fort Campbell. I'm pretty sure you heard about that, Chris.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. 9 soldiers from the 101st Airborne Division were killed. 2 of them were Filipino Americans. And since I'm in the Philippines, I wanted to, send my condolences to their families. Yeah, 9 people were killed, man. Fort Campbell, that's not far from Louisville. I guess what's that, about 3 or 4 hours away, Chris?
Yes, sir. That's more. Actually, it's more close to Nashville. It's real close. It's right on the border of Tennessee.
Yeah. Yes, Okay, who's the other gentleman we have up in the right-hand corner?
Hey, what's up? I'm Sway.
We can't hear you, Sway. Talk a little louder.
Okay, can you hear me now? Maybe it's the fans. Can you hear me now?
A little bit. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to survive in the Philippines. Nothing special.
Yeah. What's your connection to the Philippines?
Well, my dad was in the Navy in World War II, so he came here in the Battle of Leyte. And then he sailed from here to a naval battle with Japan.
Oh, okay. So how long you been here?
I came here in like 2008. But, my dad told me stories about the Philippines for many years. He even had a map that was painted by a Filipino in his office.
Yeah. Now, you married?
Yeah, I'm married.
Oh, okay. Now, Chris, you said you were married. So what, are you divorced now?
That's correct.
How long were you married?
We was married about 9 years, I guess.
Okay.
About 9 years.
Now, do you consider that a long-term relationship, 9 years? Because I got a lot of pushback on that last interview I did with the guy.
I seen it.
He says, and I'm this close, to just junking all relationships over here and come to the Philippines for something else. And, they missed the point of that interview. It's like, we all know sugar's bad for us, right? Would both of y'all agree that sugar's bad for you? Too much sugar, right?
Right.
But we want to hear the sugary stuff about the Philippines. We don't want to hear the real stuff. The real stuff is most of our relationships won't turn into long-term relationships, okay? Most of them, I'm saying, okay?
Right.
In the aggregate of relationships, I'm talking about all the relationships together, very few of them can be considered long-term relationships. But, what is long-term? Somebody might say yours is long-term, but usually they don't go the distance, man. And I don't know why. I don't know why.
I think, like I was telling some of my buddies, that, some of them, they haven't been to the Philippines. They don't have a relationship with any Filipinos. So I think they're on the outside looking in. So like I was telling them, it takes a lot more to make a relationship work than sex and, than cooking and cleaning. It takes a lot. It takes a lot more. You know what I mean? So, I guess for me, that's my second marriage. So the first one was about 6 years. The first one was atrocious. The first one should have been on Jerry Springer. So they're polar opposites, and I still love my Filipino ex-wife. I love her dearly, but I think, I don't know. It takes a little bit more. Like I said, it takes more than sex, cleaning, and cooking. It takes more than that. You need a little bit more. You need to be a little bit more involved with the relationship. The relationship is like a flower. So you have to give it energy. You have to give it sunlight. You have to feed it for it to grow. And of course, I'm not perfect either. So I can't say it's all her fault. It's somewhere in the middle.
I think that I get a pushback on videos like that because everybody wants a guarantee. They want the guarantee that when they come over here and they meet the Filipino, that their relationship's going to work out and they're going to ride off into the sunset. And so it reminds me of when I stopped drinking. When I tried to stop drinking the first time, I finally got sober in 1998. But in 1997, I tried it. And every time somebody would go out and relapse, man, we'd be scared to death. Because we wanted the guarantee that, okay, now that I'm in recovery, I'm going to stay sober. But there is no guarantee. Just like you said, Chris, you got to work at it. And this is what the title is. What are you bringing to the table over here to the Philippines? What are you going to do differently over here that you're not doing at home, to bring about this new life that all of us are seeking? We can't get something for nothing. We got to do something. But, yeah, I got a lot of pushback on that video. And I think it's because we want the guarantee that, this mess that I'm leaving from over in America is somehow going to be rectified by the Filipino over here. And
right.
That's just no guarantees, guys. The real nitty gritty is the woman that you're with right now is probably not going to work. Okay. And you may be 2 or 3 years in it already. And you say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, you're still on your honeymoon. That it's hard to make it work long term. I don't know why, guys. What do you think about that, Sway?
Well, it's it opens up a lot of different questions. I'm just trying to not really to ask for too much. So cooking and cleaning, sex, that sounds good to me, actually. I don't know. I'm not looking for a brain surgeon.
But let me ask you, is that you're married now. Is this your first relationship with a Filipino?
Well, no. That I found this place.
Wait, my channel. We don't sugarcoat nothing. Is this your first relationship with a Filipino?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you. This is what we want to know, see, so because that's going to help people. It didn't work out, right? It didn't work. All those other relationships didn't work.
Yeah, because you got to learn this place and try to understand the situation these people are in, and then that gives you more of an idea of the type of person that you want to end up with. So it took me like at least I had to go through 3 different girls and keep coming back until I finally got one that would last, a longer time, because the first girl that I met online, she was beautiful, but her situation just wasn't good. She was all about taking advantage of people, and she was tricking me into spending lots of money, and I didn't like the vibe of that,
Mm.
Yeah. Now, what did you bring to the table? And I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to ask you the same thing, Chris. But what did you bring to the table, Sway? Did you think that you could just come over here and be your same self, but you have to find this magical Filipina that was going to make everything right? Or, what did you bring to the table besides old Social Security benefits that probably ain't enough to make it at home?
Well, I mean, you're right. In the beginning, I didn't bring much. I just brought myself and my luggage, I didn't really understand the situation here. I thought it was going to be something like California. So I thought being an artist and a musician, I'd be able to impress the girls and get it to work out that way. But then I found out that in Asian culture, they don't like artists and musicians. They think they're a bunch of bums. And so on my 3rd trip here, that's when I brought my best friend, Ben Franklin, and that kind of straightened things out. Once I had Ben Franklin.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? What were you bringing to the table with your relationships?
Ben Franklin's.
Yeah.
Stability. Yeah, that's what I was bringing to the table. Now, if I would have known about your channel then, I probably would have been more successful, because what I was totally oblivious to and naive to was the complexities of the cultural differences. The language barrier is one thing, but then the customs and cultures, are different. They're totally different than what I was used to growing up in the West End, Louisville, Kentucky. So, if I would have had more resources, I think, and if we would have had more support, we would probably still be together, honestly.
Yeah. That's a great point. Now, if you never noticed, Chris is from my hometown. I didn't know you. I'm 59. How old are you, Chris?
50.
Okay, yeah, you're younger than me. See, that 9 years don't seem like a lot now, but when I was 16, you were 7.
Right.
So yeah, that's a lot of years. But let me ask you something before we move on, man, because people they think I'm playing when I talk about how violent Louisville, Kentucky has gotten. Tell them. I want you to tell them, because they don't believe when I tell them.
Oh, it's rough. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I moved when I graduated. I graduated from Male High School. That's one of the reasons why I moved to Atlanta. I went to Morehouse College, but it was like a beacon of hope for me, because I told you, I grew up not far from where you were at. I grew up with Cecil and Broadway, and drugs and were rampant, shooting, stabbings, jackings, If you didn't have, just growing up in it, and that goes back to the Breonna Taylor thing. It's just drugs are so rampant. Everybody knows somebody. If they're not selling drugs, everybody knows somebody who's selling drugs. So when they say like her boyfriend knew a drug dealer, everybody knows a drug dealer. You know what I mean? It's everywhere, right?
Yeah. Well, you knew that the same thing that happened to her happened to me. The only difference was no one was killed. Okay. Right. The same exact thing that happened to Breonna Taylor. They've been doing that for so many years. The police have just running rampant. Right. Every black man over there is a drug dealer. Here I was. I don't even have a police record. I wore a suit and tie every day as an insurance man to make sure these nuts knew that I wasn't selling drugs, right, driving around a nice car, but it didn't matter. But anyway, let's move on. I'm gonna say this before we get to the subject. Is I just think that cohabitation kills a lot of relationships. I think as human beings, man, I think we've evolved enough and our relationships have evolved enough that we don't have to live together and be together 24/7. The way our minds work, especially nowadays with the news cycles and everything going like that, you're going to get tired of each other, man.
Right.
Remember that song by LTD, separation brings about appreciation. I think it does. I'm not talking about long distance relationships. I just think that you appreciate somebody if you didn't see them every single day. And then the woman says, "Oh, I trust you." Well, of course you trust me because I'm under your thumb all day long. Do you really trust me? Do you trust me enough? And you have your place, I have mine, because either I'm going to be faithful, you're going to be faithful, or we're not. I just don't think we need to live together the way that we do. I think that's a big part of it because come on in. I just think we eventually get tired of each other and we take each other for granted, right? That's just my 2 cents. So we'll go on. We're going to talk about, what are you bringing to the table? Is it just material? Is it just tangible? Like you honest, Chris, you said, yeah, I was bringing money and I was bringing stability. But what about the intangibles? Because I wrote something down here, and I'm talking about guys who are going to come to the Philippines who want to stay here. Will the Philippines be a better place for you having been here? Because remember, the Philippines has enough problems of its own. Or will you join the endless line of SOTs? Now, if you don't know what a SOT is, that's like a drunk, a drug addict, adult delinquents, and good for nothing. What are you bringing to the table? This is what I'm saying. Because it takes more than just you showing up over here to be successful, right?
Definitely.
Well, yeah.
Have you ever lived here before, Chris?
No, the longest I stayed there was maybe a month. It's been a while, but the longest I stayed there was a month. We went all over there. I went to Palawan, Bohol, Siquijor, Ozamis, what is it? Pagadian City, of course, Manila, Mount Tao. We went all, I've been all over, but yeah, the longest I've been there was probably about a month.
Mr. Pirate Brain, no, you must be a lot younger than me. Separation brings appreciation. I think you need to go back and listen to that again. It's concentrate on you. Yeah, you're right, Will.
Yeah.
Now, what about you, Sway? Of course, you live here.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to do a lot more now. I was kind of talking about before when I first got here, but yeah, now I have big plans. I'd like to help people with their careers here. I started a record label, and I've been working on the distribution and the publishing rights, so that I can, if I publish someone's song and music video here, they're just like they'll be on a record label. They'll be able to get all the money that they're owed, all the royalties. It's a new thing now that you can do online, so I'm trying to take advantage of it. I've always meet like people in these neighborhoods that have so much talent and and no money. So I'd like to produce a few of those people.
Yeah, I think you onto something, because I don't know if copyrights and all that. I'm talking about from the other side, because over here, Filipinos, they will remake a song over here. I don't know if the artist in America gets paid or not. So you're onto something, especially if you're going to do the reverse. You want to make sure that they have worldwide rights to their music, because they've made so many songs over here, and I'm just curious to know if they paid, because them copyright to use somebody's sample or just to remake somebody's song, man, it's expensive over in America. I don't know about over here. You know, I'm thinking, can they afford to pay that to the American artists or to the Western artists? I don't think they do it. I don't think they do it.
No, in Asia, there's no respect for intellectual property rights, and you know they reprint everything and distribute everything. You know, but people are poor. That's kind of a problem that Hollywood never figured out. They're always marketing, you know, selling their products at the American price point. You know, where people in Asia are on a much lower salary, their price point is like a tenth of that, you know? So instead of just catering to these people in Asia, they refuse to do it. They'd rather just, you know, have the police raid the DVD factories and arrest people and they raided Kim.com in New Zealand, you know? I mean, like stupid stuff like that, rather than just make deals with these people. They'd rather send the police. So Hollywood is just, you know, they're clueless when it comes to marketing in Asia.
I think you're on to something though, Sway. You're making an impact over here. You have the intention of wanting to make an impact. And I think far too many of us come over here. We don't want to make an imprint. We think, well, I'm in another country. I'm just going to stay in the background and not try to help anybody. I just, you know, do my own thing. So I think that's pretty good what you're doing, because I've noticed here lately a lot of men are coming over here and they're doing these tours around the Philippines on their motorcycles, and a lot of guys are spending a lot of time scuba diving. I think there's a message in there somewhere that, you know, the Philippines is more than just about women and relationships. I think we ought to have some priorities when we come over here, and certainly getting married shouldn't be at the top of the list in getting to a relationship. I mean, what about your physical health, your financial health? All of that should come in there long before a relationship. What are you thinking, Chris, over there? I see you thinking.
Well, you're right. It should, but unfortunately, most of the guys that go over there, hey, we beat up when we go over there. Most of us. We already beat down and beat up. Yeah. So we tend to do things in the reverse order. We look for the woman first.
That's the perfect answer for that. And I think this is why I'm saying, what are you going to do differently over here than what you're doing over there? If you can't choose a good woman over there, why would you come over here and try to choose a woman? If your picker's broke over there, it's probably going to be broke over here. But we don't want to work on ourselves, see? We think that the Philippines and the Filipina is going to be the solution. It's really not. It's a temporary solution.
Right.
But it's going to start and stop with you, you know? So that's what I'm saying. This is about, what are you going to do to better yourself now? We're in the fourth quarter of our lives. You're in the third quarter, Chris, depending on how you want to look at it. But we're in a stage in our life now where we need to be thinking about self-improvement. You're never too old to improve. What are you doing, Sway? Are you working out? Are you thinking about going back to college? What are you doing over here? Are you just laying around on the beach, you know, screwing women all day? I mean, what are you doing?
Well, the latest thing I did was I built an online store, and I'm using you know, ethnic art from Papua New Guinea, and I was going to hire some of my friends to create some more art for the store, but they just recently deleted it, the whole thing. So I lost 6 months of work. So boy, that's a tricky thing to get into. You know, the problem with these high-tech companies is they're all in San Francisco. So you're coming under now these people, these you know, whoever they are in San Francisco, they're like the arbiters now of free speech and artistic expression, and they can just delete your online store without even sending you an email about it. You know, I went and logged into my store and it said 404 not found. And then when I looked on the way to appeal it, forget it. They said, we don't even answer most of the appeals. Like, okay, thanks a lot. Wow, what a lesson I just learned. So, yeah, I'd like to make it.
let me ask you something. You know, it just occurred to me because when you was first on the panel before, I was like, you either look like somebody or you sound like somebody. Man, you sound like Donald Trump. Your voice sounds like Donald Trump.
I hope not.
Has anybody ever told you that?
No.
It does, man. You sound just like Donald Trump, man.
I hope not. The guy, he has a hard time speaking, so I hope I don't. I'm a little more coherent.
Well, Calvin, something I tell you.
No, because he.
But I hear it though. I hear it. I agree. I hear it.
Yeah, you sound like Donald Trump. But anyway,
I hate to say it. I agree.
Says, what are the ladies bringing to the table that matches what we offer? But see, this is why I made the video today. We're not going to talk about the ladies. We're going to talk about us today. Let's talk about us today, guys. We always talk about the women and what they're bringing to the table. If all you're bringing to the table is the tangibles, it's probably not going to work in the long term. We got to bring some intangibles too, like some leadership and different things like that, because that's what we think. All we got to do is bring our raggedy ass over here with our Social Security check, and that's all we got to do. And the woman's going to flock to us, and we'll live happily ever after. This is the reason why one of the reasons why the relationships go bad. Because we're not really bringing anything to the table. She's young, she's beautiful, and all you're bringing is a Social Security check and stability. Well, you know, after a while, that's going to get old, man. She's going to see those young guys over there with six packs and muscles, and, you know, they still got all their teeth and everything like that. You know, it's going to be trouble for you. But yeah, let's talk about us today. We already know what the woman's bringing to the table. Her pussy, okay? Let's just be honest. That's what she's bringing. That's what Merlin said. Yeah, in the beginning, that's what we're bringing. So we already know that. Yeah. But what are you bringing to the table? What kind of self-improvement are you undergoing right now, Chris?
Well, right now I'm consider myself semi-retired. I mean, I still work, but you know, I'm retired from the fire department. But I have a lot more freedom than what I had a year ago. So I'm focusing on writing. You know, I'm a published author, so I'm focusing on writing more stories, and actually just spending more time with my children right now. You know, my son's a Boy Scout, and my daughter's a ballerina, and so I spend a lot more time with them right now. Just, you know, and I hear you talk about reading a lot. I read a lot of books, and when I'm not reading, I'm working on another story or advertising. So,
and that's good, because I want to thank you too, Chris. I want him to co-sign that. Guys, I'm working on this book.
Yeah.
He's an author. He's an author already, a published author. I mean, he's the real deal. So I sent him a copy of my first completed story in this book of short stories I'm writing on the Philippines. It's called Unspoken Agreement, Stories of Love and Betrayal in the Philippines. It's called The Setup. Tell him what you think about that. You know, I'm a raw writer, by the way.
Hey, like I told him, I had to give him 4 out of 5 stars. You know, this is his first, as far as I know, his first effort writing a book, writing a story. So you know, there's some little structural stuff. Maybe be proofread once or twice, but it's captivating. It's captivating. I can see it definitely being a Netflix series. I can see people definitely binge watching the reenactment of the story. I mean that story itself was good. Matter of fact, you know, I'm not going to share your stuff. I would never do that. But I was telling somebody about your story, and he was like, "What?" I mean, he was captivated. Just me giving him a 90-second rehash of it. He's like, "That really happened?" I said, "Well, he said this really happened. I believe he says it really happened. I think it really happened." Yeah.
It. You know, I just changed the names, and the face is basically to protect the innocent, but
Yeah.
all of these stories are based on true things that's happened over here. But Dexter says, Calvin, I don't think you give grown men enough credit. Well, it's not that. It's just that results don't lie, and the world is going to judge you on results. And when you see the results of foreigner and Filipino relationships, man, you say, man, we're in trouble. So all I'm trying to do is get a community together so we can help one another. See, I have a whole lot more experience than somebody just coming over here, because the man just coming over here, I'm just like him. I got on those rose-colored glasses, man. Every Filipino's beautiful. Right. Every one of them is going to make a great wife. All I got to do is choose one, get married, and that's it. No, when we come over here, dude, something happens to us. We lose our faculties. All our common sense goes out the window. I've seen it. I've seen so many successful men in America come over here and get played like a damn violin, man. So don't tell me, no, something goes on, something happens to us over here. Have you seen what kind of stories do you know about, Sway, over here, where men who would be considered successful in their own right at home come over here and just get walked over like a damn doormat?
Well, it's mainly the Koreans. They're filthy rich. They're richer than Americans. They come over here, and like I talked to some of the girls, like some of the girls have like 3 or 4 Korean guys sending them like $1,000 a month. And so they're driving around in new cars with new clothes, living in apartments, and they love it because they might only have to see the Korean guy maybe a couple of weeks out of the year, and the rest of the months he's just sending them money.
Man, well, you own today, Sway. You bringing up stuff, man, because we always think about it in terms of the Western man. We don't realize that we're a small part of the foreign men that come over here. See, they've got a whole lot of other options. You hit them from a whole different standpoint, but it doesn't matter where you coming from. We all seem to be getting played, and I'm thinking like, well, why? Those Korean guys, man, they're super rich. The Chinese, a lot of them are super rich. And they come over here, and the Filipino does them the same way she does everybody.
But that's like a business they have here. That's like a boutique business. And I just know this because some of the Filipinas that date the Korean guys, they're super hot. And I've tried to get in with them. Like, can I get your number? Can I see you? Like, no interest. It's your American guys. No, they just specialize in this business that they have. They don't want to date outside of that. So I thought that was interesting when I first got here.
In 2009, I ran into that one time. A guy, a taxi driver. This is the only time I ever tried to work on the clock over here. I was staying at the Diplomat Hotel, and the woman had already went home. And, I already I've been here for like 2 weeks. I was leaving the very next morning. Well, the taxi driver says, yeah, I can take you someplace. He said, I'm going to warn you, though. These women, they only like Asian men, like Japanese, Chinese, Korean. They don't like Americans. And he was right, man. When we got to the cat house, they didn't want to fool with me. They only want,
wow,
those Asian guys. Because, I guess they looked at me and figured like, well, I must have a 12-inch, baseball bat or something, so. But that's another reason why they like dealing with them. But we need to talk about ourselves more. I think that'll help instead of the woman all the time, because Filipinos are so simple that they're complicated. We miss a lot of stuff, man. We miss a lot of stuff. And I think if you come over here and you're hitting on all 12 cylinders and you're sharp mentally, give yourself a time to heal, at least a couple of weeks, man, before you start trying to get into a relationship. I think your choices are going to be a lot better. Where'd you meet your woman, Chris?
I have an interesting story. So I was at the fire department, and I did the you can kind of relate to this because you sold insurance, right? So
Yeah.
I was the guy who went around doing the medical exams after they apply for life insurance.
Right.
I went to do a medical exam, and I met an older guy, and I'm in his office, and me and my first wife had been divorced probably like a year. So I had did my running around, so to speak, and I was ready kind of in my mind to kind of find something, that would be stable. So anyway, I'm in his office and getting ready to get his blood and stuff. We're talking. I look on his desk, and it's this lady. It's just, it's him and this beautiful lady. And I looked at the other pictures, and it was his wedding party. I think he had went over there and he had met his lady here, but they went over there to get married like maybe 2 years before. Yeah. And I asked him, I said, well, who's this? He said, that's my wife. She has a big family. If you like to meet one of them. And I was looking like, whoa, yeah, I want to meet all of them. so yeah. So about, I don't know, he took my number and she gave me a call about a week later, and we talked a little bit. And I don't know, probably within another week or two, her niece, she was she started texting the email and whatnot. And I was actually because I went in the military late. I was already in my early 30s when I went in the military. So I went to basic training, and her niece had wrote me a couple of letters from the Philippines to the aunt, and she forwarded them to me, like 2 or 3 letters and a couple of pictures. So I started getting a little excited. So I went to basic, and then I went to AIT. And when I finished AIT, she's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to the Philippines, in a couple of weeks. Do you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to go." So I got my ticket and I went. And like I said, it was an overwhelming experience. Like I said, I was definitely not prepared for all the, I was a lot of beautiful ladies, and it's just the cultural, everything is just very different than what I was accustomed to. You all are there. You know about the beautiful weather and the trees and the plants and smells. Even when you come out of that airport in Manila, it's like, what is that? It's a different. Not like bad smells, but like, what is that odor? It's different.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I met her, and they did like the house blessing.
So you met her over here or over in America?
No, I met her in Pagadian City.
In the Philippines?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you got married and you brought her to America?
Yes, that was the following year. We got married. We got married in 2008. Following year, okay. And then then she came over in 2009. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Michael Alexander, thanks for that super chat. He said, "Cal, we support you no matter your choices." Thanks, brother. I don't know what that means, though. Nobody's perfect.
What does that mean?
But anyway, okay, here's what me and Marilyn were talking about today. We were talking about, these relationships not working out, but we don't really know why. Because the woman's beautiful, everything's supposed to be everything, but then at the end of the day, it doesn't work. Now, what happened? I mean, in a general way, Chris, what happened? I mean, because you're no longer with her. So
I was explaining this to somebody, and they was asking me the same thing, because we got to realize most guys, they think that's like top notch for a wife. Man, you messed, they think you messed that up, or what happened? And like I tell them, okay, so I come to a conclusion, like in a self-analysis, looking back, I think she's very good, and probably a lot of them are very good. High functional, task oriented. You know what I mean? Like if there's a task that we need to do, you can't find a better partner. Raising the kids or just anything around the house. Highly functional, task oriented. Now socially, no. Socially, she never really felt comfortable, like with my family or in social gather, unless it's a Filipino gathering.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because her English, she was about, I would say, probably 50% fluent. So she would still miss a lot in the social gatherings. And I think for her coming here too, it was probably a lot, because she was very, very shy, not outgoing at all. So I think she probably felt overwhelmed as well,
So cultural. So it's a cultural thing that. So what did you end up finding another woman, or just saying, "Hey, I can't deal with this anymore. Maybe we should split up"?
Unfortunately, I ended up finding another woman. I mean, it's a whole big long story.
I didn't want you to go into all of it because like the guy that I was interviewing the other night, I told him, I said, you don't have to go into all of it. The bottom line was it didn't work, and we're just, this is what baffles me, okay? Because when I first started coming over here, and I would hear about a couple breaking up, I would automatically say, oh, it's the man's fault. Because the women over here, they're so this, they're so that, they're so, basically perfect, really. But now that I've been over here, and I know that's not always the case, but I just want to know, damn, man, why aren't these relationships working?
So I just want to say this was one part too, because I hear you mention it every now and then. I still watch a lot of your videos. So I still felt isolated and lonely to a degree. A lot of times because we couldn't have those deeper conversations.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
it. I feel
over here. That's over here, man.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, these meet and greets are so important. It's not to meet me, it's to meet each other. Elliot Mercado, thanks for that super chat. She said, amen to that, Michael Alexander. Now, Sway, what is it about the woman you're with now that's different from all the other women that you dealt with? Are you different, or is it her?
She's just like easygoing. That's like seems to be a rare thing with Asian women. They're really, I've had a few different Asian girlfriends, and they tend to like physically attack you, and they use martial arts, and they can really beat you up. And with this one, she's so easygoing. We don't even argue.
Yeah. Now, Michael Alexander, thanks for the super chat. He said, it means we know you want more than one piece of candy. Well, actually, I don't really. But what happens is, see, that's one thing I can say. I'm really a one-woman man, one woman at a time, okay? And this is the only reason why me and Marilyn are still together. She knows I'm a one-woman man, I was targeted, man. I'm not making excuses. I'm taking all responsibility. I could have easily walked away, but let you walk away. She basically showed up at my hotel at 12 midnight with nothing underneath her raincoat, basically. Now, that's basically in a nutshell what happened to me. Okay, now you try to say, go ahead, you're going to shut the door on the girl, 21-year-old, right? You're supposed to, let me see you try that. Okay, and this is what people don't understand. I'm not perfect, but no, I really don't like all that headache, especially not over here, man. I'm going to tell you, man, these women can be a headache. You don't know what you're dealing with, man, over here. Not all of them, but the ones we seem to choose can be a headache.
Yeah, can I just say, too, like there's a thing with Filipinas, if they get mad at you in a restaurant, I mean, I've had them they'll just like throw a drink right in your face, like in front of everyone there. It's so embarrassing. And then the security guards will come over and they'll look at you like you did something wrong. And then like when you leave, the security guards will escort you away like you're an evil foreigner. You know what I mean? Even though you didn't do anything, the girl threw a drink in your face, which is incredibly disrespectful. I've had stuff done to me a bunch of times. And it's not, I didn't really do anything that bad. I just said the wrong thing. If you say the wrong thing to a Filipina, there's no limit on what they'll do to you.
Well, you're just co-signing what I said the other night. They go from they go for the jugular right away. Yeah. There's no diplomacy. There's no talking it over. I've had women flop down in hotel lobbies and with all this noise and I mean, just embarrassed the hell out of me. I'm like, well, hell, I just said that the woman looked nice or something stupid like that, something real small. And they all go having a fit in the lobby and I'm turning around. Everybody's watching. And of course, it's my fault. There's no diplomacy. They go straight for the jugular. Mm. So I'm just telling you, man, when you come over here, I would get myself together because we're not perfect over there. So the Philippines and these women over here is going to be a temporary solution. Then after that, you got to figure something out, man. Most of the time it's us. And that's why I want to talk about us today. I don't want to talk about the woman because we know the woman basically and what she's bringing. We don't talk about it enough because we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. And I don't get it. So it's us we need to be talking about. Are you working on any books right now, Chris?
I am. I did one of my stories is The Bounty, A Poet on the Run. So right now I'm working on The Bounty Part 2. Godfrey Sings the Blues. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now in a nutshell, what is that? What's the thesis of that, I guess?
Well, if somebody was to read the first one, it's about in a nutshell, it's about a guy he was selling a little weed and he lost his job. So he started to sell cocaine and he crosses, he's getting high on his own supply. So these friends come together to help him. And one of them is Godfrey. He's a complete nut. He's Richard Pryor. He's Red Fox. He's a pyromaniac. He's Murdoch from the A-Team. He's a complete nut. So you have him. The poet is the junkie. He goes around, making poems, entering poetry contests. You have his friend that's a hustler. That's a street thug, and then you have the country boy. So it's an assortment of characters that come together. So the second one is gonna feature the lunatic. So each book is one of the characters is gonna be the lead. So it's pretty cool because you got these different, it's like any crew. You got these different characters, different personalities, meshing and not meshing. So the first one got really good reviews. Okay, so working on the second one right now. Yeah.
Now, Sway, you started out with something right along the lines of the topic. I'm going to ask, people who are watching now to think, what is going to be your legacy over here when you come over here? You want to live. So what's going to be your legacy? Are you going to have one? Are you just going to, like Clegg said, he said, I wanted to end the cycle of poverty in my fiance's family. So he built her a 6 million peso house.
Wow.
Sway said, I want to help these young talented children who may have no other way out other than a record deal or something like that. Right, Sway? You're going to help them in that way. I use the spin wheel, man. I try to give back to help Filipinos during the pandemic and the lockdowns. It's enough problems over here already. I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to be a part of the solution. So my legacy is just, he did as much as he possibly could. He helped as many people as he possibly could, and he did very little damage. That's basically what I want my legacy to be, of helping other people. Because you got a choice. You can come over here and make the Philippines a better place, or you can join, like I said, that endless line of good for nothings, because it's a bunch of them over here.
Yeah, there is.
There's a bunch of them over here, and I'm not talking about anybody. It's their life, but I'm telling you what I'm seeing, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing. It's a bunch of adult delinquents over here.
Yeah, like that YouTuber who got arrested.
Yeah. And,
crazy YouTuber. taking
Yeah,
advantage of girls in Manila.
Oh, wow.
So let me ask you this question, guys. If you're watching this and you're thinking about coming over here, because everybody's got their priority. Some guys just want a wife. They say, okay, I'm going to come over here and get a wife, and I'm going back to the States. But some people want to stay here. But either of y'all want to say, so will you be the difference in her life? Or is she going to be the difference in your life? It's not, don't say, oh, we're going to be both to both. No, you're in dreamland with that. This is the whole point of what are you bringing to the table? Are you going to be the difference in her life, man? Are you just going to be a Social Security check and a visa? Is it only going to be the tangibles that you're bringing to the table? And if it is, don't expect that relationship to last the long term. It's not. If people are going to fool around on Beyonce and all these Jennifer Aniston and all these beautiful women, man, and if they can't keep a husband, something's going on, man, with marriages. And I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. Do you have any insight on that, Chris? What is it? Why don't people stay married?
I think, like I said, I think it takes a lot of different components to keep it together. But I think it helps if you have a focus. Like the focus is, it's going to be, hey, let's keep the family. Like you just said, that one guy's focus was he was going to get her family out of poverty, forever possibly. So I just think it needs to be a focus between the two parties. Something I'm thinking about too is, what about the orphanages down there? They have a lot of orphanages in the Philippines, because I talked to Russell Taylor, pretty often down in the Dominican Republic, and he talks about an orphanage that he sponsors a lot. And I haven't heard about a lot of orphanages in the Philippines. Are there a lot of them around and I'm just saying it because maybe there would be a vehicle to support the kids.
There's a big one in Leyte.
In
Leyte?
Yeah, there's a huge orphanage. I've been there. It's terrifying, actually. What I mean? It has a fence around it. It's a nice place for the kids, but it's basically like you're in jail. I mean, that's to keep people from coming in, not leaving. But when you go there, the kids run out like a pack and they surround you, and they're all trying to get your attention in case you might be a parent for them. So it's
right.
It actually, it's an emotional journey, man.
See stuff like that. See.
But
that's the kind of
they've got a nice one in Cebu. Now remember, I don't know what's going on inside of it. He asked whether they're here. Yeah, they're here. But if you want to start working with them, I think you got to go through the government agencies, the DSWD, social, the social families department and all of that. You can't just walk up to one of those places and start helping. Mike Alexander, thanks for that super chat. Said your channel members love and support you, brother Cal. Yeah, and I love y'all back, man. And that's real talk, man. I wouldn't share the things I share if I didn't. I'm trying to help people. Now, R68DVR, this is everybody's choice. He says, my legacy, good or bad, is left here in the United States. I'm not coming there to be anything but normal. But see, you have to understand, you coming over here is like DNA. You're going to leave a legacy here, whether you know it or not. You can't just come here and not affect the Philippines, dude. You're smarter than that.
It's true.
Okay? You're going to leave your DNA over here. You're going to leave your legacy over here. All right? Instead of resetting life or just living out the fourth quarter peacefully, which is good. But yeah, don't think that you're going to come over here and not affect anything. But you are. Now, he says there's no legacy of helping others. We're not Mother Teresa. Well, Mother Teresa wasn't Mother Teresa. Okay? But that's going to be my legacy. And whatever you think, that's what you want to think. If I'm going to be over here surrounded by people who the only thing they did was, they didn't even do it, the circle of life stopped and let them off in the Philippines, and they're struggling, and I can help them, I'm going to help them. You know, especially since I was fortunate enough to be born in America. I'm going to share my blessings the best I can. I can't help everybody, but that's no excuse not to help anybody. And see, it's people like you who say, oh, no legacy in helping people. You know, you're takers, man. You come over here and take. The Philippines has enough problems of its own, you know, and you're just going to join that long line of, you know, of good for nothings over here, you know, basically what it's going to be. But here's a hard question I want people to ask themselves.
Thanks.
Okay, why can't you make it work over there where you are? And then, you know, if you can't make it over there, what makes you think you can make it over here? This is just a question because, you know, obviously a change of environment helps people. Okay, but this is where we got to bring it full circle, and it's going to come back to you. Like, if you can't choose a good woman over there, you can't save money over there, you can't keep it all together over there, what makes you think you can come over here and do it? What are you going to do differently? This is what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, it's going to depend on how you get your life together, whether or not you're going to be successful, your relationship or whatever it is that you're trying to do over here. Do you agree with that? Does any of you agree with that on the panel?
I mean, it's just a different place here than say USA. This is a community where everyone helps each other. Like if I ran out of money, I could send my wife around the neighborhood and she'll come back with a basket full of food, and they'll just say, you know, pay us when you can. I can get credit from any place here. And you can't do that in America. You can't walk in the store and say, hey, can I get a beer and I'll pay you in a couple of days? You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, out here, like we're all taking care of our own, because this is like we're in this together. So you become part of that, you know, and you should become part of that, you know. I've sent people to doctor's appointments. I paid for their clinic visits, whatever. I'll do whatever I can. It's just how it's done here.
Yeah, that's how it used to be in America. See, actually, you can do that in my neighborhood. There was a place, believe it or not, it was called Cecil Payne's on 32nd Street. We called him Whitey because he was the only white man in the neighborhood, and he owned a little grocery store. And you could go over there and get stuff on credit. You know, I many times, I'm talking about even as an adult, I would take a list of stuff over there, hand it to Whitey's, usually like a loaf of bread, 6-pack of Sterling beer, maybe a pack of L&M Gold 100. And yeah, he'd give it to my mother until she got paid. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, but what is it about you that's changed, Sway, since you come here?
Well, I'm part of it's a new culture with new values and new everything and a new language.
I mean, you though. I know the Philippines, but have you changed? And in what way?
Yeah, you become like them. You become Filipino, like that YouTube channel, becoming Filipino. It's a process. You gradually kind of assimilate into their mentality, and I know the way that they're looking at things now, and it's easier to get along with them because I get where they're coming from now. When I first got here, this place was really a mystery, and I just couldn't jive with what everyone was doing. But now it just seems normal now. So yeah, you adopt their culture. It becomes part of you. When I go back to America now, I feel weird because I'm like, wow, look at this. This is like everyone's so greedy here and everyone's so materialistic, and it's just a huge turnoff actually. So I don't know. Yeah, it gets in your heart, gets in your soul.
What about you, Chris? What did you learn from being married to a Filipino for 9 years? Did she change you in any kind of way?
She did. Honestly, I was able to get a lot done because she took care of everything with we had 2 children. She came in 2009 and our daughter and son was born in 2010 and 2011. And she's a classic tiger mom. I mean, she took care of them. My my daughter had some complications when she was born, but we were able to bring her home. But I was still a little fretful and fearful, but she was right on top of taking care of everything with her. Like I said, very high functional task oriented. Everything was, I have no complaints. I have no complaints about that. It was a good part of our relationship.
But hindsight being 2020, you would take her back today if you could.
Oof.
You saying that you have regrets. She was like, man, I wish I could go back and do that all over again.
I wish I could, but unfortunately, in life, sometimes we do things and we get to a point you can't really go back. It's definitely one of the probably worst mistakes of my life. It probably is the worst mistake of my life so far, but I can't, Like I've tried to straighten it out. I'm trying to make it, but it's gone. It's done. It's done. Yeah. It's done. I've tried for 5 years. So
wow.
Just keep it moving, and hey, I'm still nice to her, still respect her and her family. Still, take care of my children. But I think that part of us being together, I think it's done. Now I've thought about going to get another one.
Right. So you haven't learned nothing.
That's what my buddy told me. So you ain't learned nothing. You're gonna go get another one.
But I guess you probably could. You probably know. You are a lot wiser though. You probably know what a good woman looks like over here now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Like I said, that first time, if I would have known you about this channel, where I could have been schooled a little bit every week, I would have been prepared. And what's that thing you always say, the unspoken agreement? Yeah. Nobody told me about that. I didn't know anything about that. So when I heard, whispers and heard her talking about helping the family, I was like, to me, I was insulted. I'm working overtime and I'm supposed to send some money to somebody. I didn't know anything about that. Yeah, her family didn't tell me. I didn't have a clue.
They're not going to ask you in the beginning,
right?
But that's your part of the agreement.
See, I didn't know.
Is to take care of the financial things. She's going to take care of everything else. Now, Auntie Perrick. Now, see, he says, Calvin, can a fella just be cool, cordial, kind, and stay to themselves? Yes, but guess what? Here's the facts. We don't do that. How many people do that, Auntie Perrick? You're not going to do it. You're going to come over here and you're going to rummage through some stuff. You're going to knock over something and break it in the store, okay? You're going to do something over here. You're not just going to come over here and be cool, cordial, kind, and stay to yourself. Unless you're some kind of robot.
Right.
You just heard Chris say when you get over here, man, you're going to be flooded with beautiful women. You're going to be hit with something that you've never experienced in your life before. You're going to throw all that stuff out the window. You guys are talking this stuff because you're 8,000 miles away. Wait till she shows up at the airport with them skinny jeans on or them short shorts and her hair's coming all the way down to her behind. She's smelling like cream silk. Okay? You get in that taxi and she says, you can do anything you want to me. She's 21 to 25. You're going to throw all that stuff out the window, man. All this whole, I'm going to stay to myself stuff. Am I lying, man? Y'all both have been over here. Tell these guys I'm not lying.
It's an experience.
No, man.
It's an experience. I think every man, I have a little place down in the Dominican Republic, so because that's a lot closer for me with my children being here. That's a good comparison, but it's still not. It still don't get it just right. It's a pretty good comparison, though. Yeah, it's an experience. Every man needs to experience it one time in their life.
And you're not going to appreciate anything we're talking about until you finally get boots on the ground over here. And then you're going to say, oh, man, I'm talking about some of these women. It's not a day goes by over here that I don't see the perfect woman over here. Some of these women are just drop dead gorgeous, man. But it's because America has already, programmed my thinking to what a beautiful woman's supposed to look like. She's supposed to be 5'5", 120, 28 pounds with a 26-inch waist. Well, hell, they're all over here. It's flooded with this place. But here's another one. He said, Dave's not here. He said, there are some who just simply want to be left the hell alone. What's wrong with that? In the Philippines, man? Come on, guys. You guys are y'all in a delusion. Don't come over here if you want to be left alone. If I want to be left alone, I'm gonna stay in America. But you're not gonna be left alone over here. You know, you're gonna be your worst enemy over here. Everything that makes you a man is going to, all your hormones are going to be crying out. They're going to be begging you to, you know, to get with one of these women, man. It's hard to fight, man. You know, that's why I say, when I said cohabitation kills a lot of relationships, it does, because I'm not easy to live with. You know, one complaint women always give me that live with me, Sway, they say, my pussy's sore. Well, of course it's sore. You're laying in the bed next to me. That's one of the consequences of laying with me. Let's get you a place of your own then, because I'm not going to fight temptation every damn night. Oh, my ass hurts. Oh, yeah, it does, don't it? Oh, my jaws are sore. Well, of course they are. Let's get you in a place then, and we can both, because I'm not gonna fight temptation every night, man. That's stressful. You know, I would have a heart attack.
They're asking why I get drinks thrown in my face, so I'd like to explain a little bit about that.
Okay.
In Asia, education is the top thing. Even I know, you know, families that live in the squatters and they send their kids to college. They raise the money somehow. Wow. Everybody here wants to go to college. These people, they really respect education. And so, you know, I've dated these Filipinas, they're honor students, and they're strict. And you know, they're really uptight. They want to be perfect in everything they do. And then they meet someone like me. I'm kind of a crazy guy. I play rock and roll and I drink beer, and you know what I mean? It's like, for Asian girls, that's not what they're looking for. They want another mama's boy. They want like another career-oriented, like mama's boy. And like, as an American, I'm more like Kurt Cobain, you know, I'm a wreck. And so I can't be that guy for them, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I get drinks thrown in my face.
Yeah. So how much luck do you think guys are going to have coming over here keeping to themselves, Sway? How successful are they going to be?
It's impossible. This is the most social place I've ever lived in my life. I have to say hello to like 20 people just to go to the store.
Yeah. And
people drive by in trucks and I have to wave like this to them. I mean, otherwise you look like a jerk.
Yeah. But Elliot, I'm sorry, I forgot you're on here, but I'm just trying to tell you, you know, this is why I say that cohabitation ruins a lot of relationships. I don't believe that we should live together 24 hours a day, because we're going to get tired of each other. Living with another human being is difficult, man.
That's why they have compounds in Asia. You don't. You have a compound where it's like 10 different houses, and then you live in one, maybe with one of your wives, and then your other wives and your relatives live in the other houses. That's the setup here.
Where is that at? that sounds interesting.
Well, like, you know, like in the Muslim, if you visit the Muslims, the women live on the second floor, the men live on the first floor. So the first floor bathroom it's right. Awful, but you never get to go upstairs. That's, you know, there's like a little cord across the stairs. That's called the harem. So all the women, your friend's wives will be up there, but also his daughters, also his aunts, maybe his grandmother. They'll all be upstairs. And, you know, every once in a while you get to like peek up there and it's really nice. Everything's beautiful. But then you have to stay downstairs if you're a man. And you know, the men's bathroom is like, whoo, not so good.
But I mean, you either trust me or you don't, right? It's not like, oh, I trust you as long as I can see you. Either I'm going to be faithful, you're going to be faithful. We're going to make it work. Or not. We don't have to live together. I think that at the end of the night, I should be able to go home. You should be able to go home, and then whatever time we meet the next day, I think that will bring about appreciation, because I think we need our space, man, you know. And I know that, you know, religion has a lot to do with some of the unrealistic expectations we put on our spouses and on the husbands and wives. But Michael, thanks for that super chat. Said, family, let's show our brother Cal some love. And I appreciate you, man. But yeah, guys, you know, this is just my take. I'm not the Bible on the Philippines or relationships anybody. I've been terrible with relationships, really. But I tell you what, I always tell guys this, you know it's not going to work out in the long run. So make those few months or few years the best years or months of your life. And that's what I do. I have no regrets about any woman I've ever dealt with over here. Because I'm going to get the most out of it, man. I'm going to win. You heard the guy on the interview. He said, yeah, she left me for somebody else, you know, and I was devastated. He said, but now when I look back on it now, it seems like I won. Because he was happy, he said, for just those few months. And then they got a beautiful daughter. You know, that's always hindsight. It's always 2020. You look back, but yeah, I'm gonna win, man. I don't have any regrets over here. They were some of the best years of my life.
Yeah.
So you don't have any regrets. I'm pretty sure, Chris, you can say that you had some good times with your ex-wife.
I did. You know, we had my buddy said. My buddy told me, he said when this other situation started evolving, he said, brother, you're gonna trade up the American dream for this other situation. You actually I had 3 children, one from my first wife. So, 2.5, you know, the classic, the 2.5 children, the house with the white picket fence, the dog and the cat and the pool in the back. He told me, he said, man, you going to trade up all of that for this other situation?
Yeah.
I said, man, you just don't know, you don't know how I feel though every day. I feel like I'm by myself, man. I feel like I'm by myself. It's not a good feeling.
Was your first wife Filipina?
Oh no, she's no.
Okay, yeah.
No.
So yeah.
No.
Yeah. Stylish over 60, thanks for that super chat. He said, hey Cal, Chris is right. It's an experience. I too got that sensation of a different fragrance in the smell of the air when I stepped off the plane.
Yes.
We all do. One of my early videos was about that. You know that you're in the Philippines. Now, you're not going to know the first time, but the second time you come, you're going to get that familiar odor in your nostrils, man. You're like, yeah, I'm back in the Philippines. Yeah. Thanks, Habit 711, for that super chat. Now, are you retired, Sway? I forgot to ask you that.
No, I don't want to be retired. That's why I'm trying to build online businesses here and teach people entrepreneurship, because it's the thing with the culture here is they're always sending everyone to work in foreign countries. There's no, I met one guy here that came from Saipan who was teaching entrepreneurship to college kids here. And there's really not a lot of that, I told him, I hope you come back and expand the program, because people here just follow this really conservative mindset where you have to get a job.
My drink. I think
they're like that, And but really, there's more options in life, especially now.
So do you have a passive income?
Yeah, I've developed several different income streams.
Okay, I just wanted to know, because that's one of the things that we always suggest. No, it should be one already open. Okay. That's one thing we always suggest when you come over here. It's better to have a little, passive income every month.
Yeah, you're dead. I mean, trying to start a real business here is very, very difficult. The failure rate is very high. I see like a lot of rich Europeans come here, they open up a restaurant. 6 months later, they're moving back to Europe. I've seen that many times.
Yeah. I think that's that's a big mistake, man. I was talking about this the other day. To open up a restaurant, there's so many restaurants in the Philippines, man, per square foot. I mean, they're right next to each other. They're right across the street from each other. Unless you're really gonna have like a cuisine that nobody else has to offer, like probably I'll tell you, they've got a good Indian restaurant in Panglao Bahal. I mean, the food is really delicious. It's like something in Thailand. Unless you can open up something like that, you're not gonna make it, man. Mike Alexander, thanks for that super chat. He says, I'm serious, fam. Let's show him some love. Thanks, brother. But you're right, man. People start these concrete brick and mortar businesses. Thanks, Elliot, for that super sticker. And pretty soon, man, they go bust because we don't understand a peso economy. We don't have the patience for it. The profit margin is so slim, man. You can't even cut it with a knife. You know, we're so used to operating in dollars and pounds, and then we come over here and you're talking about pesos, man. You better know what you're doing over here. I don't give a damn what kind of business you're talking about opening. The best business to open over here would be subleasing, man. I wouldn't do nothing else, or renting motorcycles or something like that. But I wouldn't try to sell anything. Who's gonna buy it? Who's gonna buy it when the average salary over here is $250 a month, and most of the people you deal with is half of that, really, and some even more. One guy was trying to argue with me on one of my videos. He's like, Cal, Google says that the salary is this. I said, look, man, you certainly have no idea what you're talking about. When they see them figures on Google, they're talking about people who have real jobs. 2/3 of the people in the Philippines do not have a real job. They're getting paid under the table. Some people are happy to earn 100 pesos a day, man. But this guy wants to argue with me. I'm like, come on over here, Dan. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Those people will be happy. I'm going to interview a normal guy today, a local guy today, my tricycle driver. I'm going to let him tell you because y'all don't believe me. It's tough over here for a lot of people. A lot of people. So, yeah, you kind of come over here to start a business like that. And people want credit over here, just like Sway said. When I first met Marilyn, I tried to do something noble. Oh, I said, what kind of business can we start to bring in some extra money? You know what she said? A rice business, right? It makes good sense, okay? You buy the big 50-kilo bag of rice, and then you sell, 1 kilo sacks of rice. You're going to earn a lot off each one. But the problem is everybody wants credit. Everybody wants credit to payday. Well, how am I going to re-up when all my supplies is gone? I got to have money to buy more supplies, but I can't do it. So I said, no. We got out of that. We end up losing. I end up losing 450 pesos on that deal because some woman got it on credit, never paid us. So, yeah, it's kind of hard. Bay Area Mechanic, thanks for that super chat. He says, I went for vacation in the Philippines in 2022 and saw the light at age 35. I'm going back to Cebu City in August, going to spend my 36th birthday there. Now, what are you talking about? You saw the light.
Man.
What light was that? Yeah, okay. Now, he says, let's see. He says, so many shops and restaurants in the Philippines. That's facts. Thinking of bringing Mexican cuisine since our cultures are similar. Now, that would be good. We ate it when Michael Beach Alive. He's not on here today. He took us to one in Cebu, man. Have you ever ate at that La Lucha Mexican place, Sway, down by Mango Square? It's authentic Mexican food. It's delicious.
No, I haven't.
But remember, it's just another option, man. They got so many options. and they only got so much money they can spend. You're talking about, okay, like the cheapest thing on their menu was like 40 pesos, right? It was like a small taco. Now for 40 pesos, the Filipino of the masses, the one that goes back and forth to work, he can get rice, pancit, and a drink for 40 pesos. Yeah.
Wow.
So you're trying to sell one little small taco, and he's going to down that, and that'll be it. They eat rice for a reason. There's no nutritional value with rice. It simply is going to fill you up. That's the reason they eat it. They get on booby all the time. Eat your rice, and I'm like, honey, look, let her eat cereal. Let her eat bread. You know, rice doesn't have any nutritional value. They on booby like eat your vegetables. You know, they push the rice on her like they're saying, like we push vegetables in America. There's no nutritional value to that. Michael Alexander says, thank you for that super chat. He said, I love your channel for real, bro, Cal. I feel you, brother, and support you. Keep making the video. Man, you just don't know, man. I'm really speechless, to tell you the truth, Chris. When I started my channel, I never saw any of this coming.
Hey.
I didn't.
I told you, when I was on that deployment, I was looking through YouTube one day, and I seen that the title has something to do with the Philippines. It caught my attention. But then when you started to talk, I said, I think he's from Kentucky. And then the more and more videos I watched, and then when I seen you and John, I was just hooked from that point on. So yeah, it's some good content.
Because Sway was kind of he's a vlogger. What's the name of your channel, Sway?
Sway Staggle Show.
Okay.
Sway Staggle Show.
Okay, Sway.
I'm trying to do a comedy channel.
Oh,
okay. Well, give us some stand up real quick, man. You got your chance. Hell, you got 300 people watching. Tell a few jokes.
It's not stand up. It's the last video we made was a challenge. We had to drink a bottle of Tanduay and swim across a pool.
Ooh, it can be challenging.
What did he say?
It's not real. It's just a stunt. It's just like a funny thing for Filipinos. They think it's funny.
Yeah. Now
they have a different sense of humor, so it's not easy to get into their world.
That's right. But remember, if you're trying to build a YouTube channel, see, I've educated the little that I know a lot of Filipino bloggers about this. You got to talk about things foreigners want to talk about. It's hard to get in. It's hard to break that Filipino audience. And then remember, YouTube doesn't pay you anything for Filipino vloggers. They basically say, okay, they're going to be on the internet anyway, just because, you know, they do. They spend a whole lot of time on the internet over here. So YouTube and all the social media sites, they pay you very little for Filipino viewers. I mean, you would go broke. If you have a Filipino following and you get 1 million views, guess how much YouTube's going to pay you on 1 million views? $1,000. And you take that same 1 million with American views, they're going to give you 11,000.
Wow.
You're the same YouTuber. It's the same video. But if Americans watch it, YouTube's going to pay you more. And some people get more than that. It just depends on what your, what do they call it? RP something, you know. YouTube does all these figures for you, but yeah, they give you very little for Filipino viewers. Because first of all, Filipinos aren't going to buy anything, and you're not competing against any other distractions. So when Americans are watching me, hell, they could be at the casino, they could be at the NBA game, NFL game, watching, you know, countless TV shows. There's so much other stuff they could be doing. And more than likely, they're going to click on those ads and watch them. So they pay you more. but Joe Potato says become a loan shark. You know, even though this is, y'all may think this is crazy, this is one of the most lucrative businesses over here, right? But it's dangerous. Also one of the most dangerous.
Right.
And more than likely you're a foreigner, it's going to be hit and miss with you. I would let my woman be the one loaning that money, because if you're loaning it, they're not going to pay you, man. They're not going to pay you. You know, and then you got all kinds, like TJ said, remember when we were little, you're 50, you might be old enough to remember this. How old are you, Sway?
56.
Remember all them little savings and loans and everything we used to have all around the city and stuff? They still got that here in the Philippines. I mean, you see them everywhere. You can get a loan anywhere over here, as long as you got, like, you a seaman, a nurse, a teacher, a government worker. You just walk in there with your, proof of your pay.
Yeah, I went to a Muslim bank one time. They still had a book.
Okay.
They ran the bank on a paper book.
Wow.
It's like a ledger. They opened it up. They're like, "You want to put money in the bank? Hold on, let me open the book. All right, how much you gonna put in?" I'm like, "What? I don't know about this."
Old school.
Yeah, it's like really old school.
Yes,
Like,
I've got a passbook. I've got a passbook account here. I'll show you. No, I can't. I got a passbook account. Now, when's the last time you seen a passbook account?
Passbook account?
Yeah, a passbook account where I take the book. Okay. This is for he wants to know my cash out. See, I don't have a cash out really. My daughter runs my cash app over there. You can't have a cash app outside of the United States. Okay, but she does that for me. But anyway, I've got a passbook. You know the old passbook. You go into the bank, you fill out the withdrawal, you hand them the passbook, and just say if I got 100,000 pesos in there and I want 10,000 out. Well, he takes the 10,000 off and then marks in my passbook 90,000. Gives it back to me, and I go, there's no ATM. I mean, it's an old.
Wow.
But that's what I love about the Philippines, though, man. It's so old-fashioned. It reminds me of when I was little. Neil Ramratton says, Calvin, you're correct about the rice. I cut it out years ago. I only eat it sometimes when I eat out. Keeping weight off is easy. Yeah, there's no nutritional value. And they eat a lot of it simply because it keeps you full.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who called you a professional failure, Sway? I saw where you you put that in the wrong comment. You sent that to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that. I was just like, no, actually the Philippines has been the best thing that ever happened to me, because the screenplay that I wrote here, I ended up going around the world and winning like most of the film festivals in the world. I won a lot in Hollywood, New York City, and then I won all 3 of the Manila Film Festivals. I won Bhutan. I won South America.
Yeah.
The only places I didn't win were like Africa, because it's really hard to. They don't have their film festivals set up online yet for online submissions, so I didn't win in Africa and the Middle East. They're not doing film festivals because they're too orthodox. There is a Dubai.
Did that translate into money?
Yeah. It's definitely going to translate into money.
No, I mean, has it already?
No, it took me 3 years to win those awards. I mean, I had to travel all over the world. That's what I was doing. Right before the pandemic hit. I was flying all over the world and collecting awards. So, there's nothing I could do. Once the pandemic hit, the movie industry shut down, and that was the end of my run, you know.
Yeah, because I know when I was in the insurance business, I was out when I first started out, I would always be worried about winning these awards, right? And my manager was like, to hell with those awards. He said, you get out here and you help people and you can buy your own damn trophy. You know, he said those awards mean absolutely nothing. It doesn't translate into putting food on the table. And so it made a lot of sense to me. I stopped worrying about them. And when I stopped worrying about them, I started winning.
Well, no, in the film business, it's awards based. So the jobs that you get, you have to have awards. If you don't have any awards, you're not going to get in.
I'm aware about that, but I'm saying if it doesn't translate into money, I mean,
it translates into clients. That you get the best clients. Like one of my friends has 3 Grammys and about 40 platinum records. Wow. He works with
I'm asking you though, has it translated
the top people in the world
to you?
Well, I mean, Bill Gates launched COVID. What can I do? I had 3 years. I had to just sit around in some kind of a lockdown. I couldn't travel anywhere. It ruined my life. So no, I mean, there's nothing I could do about it. You know what I mean? But we're going to see the results of that now, because now I'm back.
Now, Herbert says loan shark is a bad idea. Well, hell, I could say that getting married over here is a bad idea. But, you know, it just depends on who you are. If you got the testicular fortitude to loan that money, man, you can get rich over here. It's because I'm going to tell you what happens over here. People will continue to pay you that interest because they can't pay the lump sum. So you can loan somebody $100 and they'll pay you back $1,000 before they'll ever pay you the $100. But it's a dangerous job. Loan shark is 5'6". It's a 5'6", but remember when Duterte ran for president, he said he was going to get rid of it. I'm kicking the Indians out of the Philippines because this 5'6", they've got my people, tied up with this scam, right? But he can't do it. It's a part of the culture here. Who else are going to loan these people? The street vendor, the sorry store owner, the caterer. Where are they going to get the financing from? They're going to get it from the 5'6". And Indians run it really over here. They're masters at it. But it's dangerous. And if you're in Cebu, you probably read about it all the time. Those collectors get killed. Now he says you have a friend with 40 platinum records and you're here. That's cap. Well, we're not going to talk about anybody. And, I mean, who do you think his friend is?
It's Warren Riker.
Famous that he didn't come from somewhere?
My friend's Warren Riker.
Yeah.
He produced that album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
One of my favorites.
Oh, wow.
He got 40 million platinum record for that. It's like the size of like a sofa in your living room. It's unbelievable, that award that he got from that one.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Pirate Brain. He said, I sent you a cash app. It's not much, but I hope you have 13. It is because my daughter just had a baby. So I just let her keep that, because her baby was 9 pounds and it was premature. It was 2 weeks premature. So it was going to be a big baby. They were projecting 10 pounds. But the baby came early. It was 9 pounds, but hell, that was the norm when we were born, Chris. I was almost 9 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. It is a very dangerous game, Devin. I'm not advocating people to do it. The guy said, "Hey, loan money," and I said, "Look, man, I wouldn't." Suggest it, but it's a lucrative business.
Those guys get killed all the time.
Yeah.
They get shot.
Sounds dangerous. Very dangerous.
Get shot.
Very dangerous. Because depending on how much you owe, they might say, well, hell, I can pay somebody $5,000 or $10,000 to kill him, and now I don't owe you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Isaiah Allen says, Cal, what opinion do you have on how long a foreigner should date a Filipino before even considering thinking or any relationship, and how long after dating even consider living together? That's a good question, man. I really don't know, you know, but it's certainly more than 2 weeks. It's certainly more than the minute you get off the damn plane. And this is what we do. You know, I mean, the minute we get off the plane, the woman is living with us. And this is not something I'm making up. It's just facts. There's people watching me right now that they never met their girlfriend in person but one time, and they're living together right now. The minute they got, I did it already. Hell, I did it more than once. It's just something you do because men, listen, guys, this is an adult channel. Most of my viewers are 45 and up. I know why we do it. We want our pussy nearby. We don't want it too far away. Okay? If we prefer it to be in the next room or maybe even in the bed with us, let's be honest. That's why we do it. We think for some reason, she's going to run off. I don't know. But it's crazy, man, that we do it.
That's true.
You know, basically. Okay, now, when you came over here, Chris, and you met your wife, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did y'all immediately start getting it on?
It was interesting. I met her one day, and the next day, the family was really concerned that we had did something because we was in the same, the same bed, same room, right? Yeah. So you know what they did the next day?
What?
We had the family. They did the family blessing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I was on track to get married right then, right? Immediately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a big deal over here. Sex is a big deal over here. It's not like it is over there. When you lay down with a woman here, man, it's like, okay, you committed.
That's right.
You don't know it. But in her mind, you have. And that's why they get so angry when it doesn't work out. They're like, hell, we done did everything you asked me to do. Michael Alexander, thanks for that super chat. Said, Brother Cal, I sent you some money on PayPal and Cash App. Man, I'm speechless, dude. I didn't get to finish what I was saying. Thank you, man, so much. But when I started this out, man, I never saw anything like this coming. It's just really a shock. But hindsight being 2020, I think when I started talking about getting, leaving that rat race and getting off that hamster wheel, I think people related to that.
Yes.
There's a lot of people out there who are in that mindset.
Right.
They can relate to that. Like, right. Man, I'm still working after all these years, and I got to work twice as hard to keep up the same lifestyle, which is what I did. $100,000 a year is not a lot of money in America anymore.
True.
Okay, especially when I had 4 kids, I had 4 children, and remember they're taking out taxes. I'm not getting $100,000 cash.
Right.
And then you talk about mortgage, insurance, car insurance, food. See, because when you earn that money, that you can't get food stamps. You don't get Section 8 and all that stuff.
Right.
So $100,000 is not a lot of money, man, in America today. When you got a family, man, I'm sorry, it's not.
It's true.
So when you talk about, I had to do something different, man. When we got divorced, and then I came over here. I dated my wife. I'm talking about for September of 2010 we met. We got married June 2014. So it's almost 4 years. I thought I knew her about as well as I did.
Yeah.
But the first time she came to see me in the Philippines, it was on the very first time. I've never met a woman over here where that wasn't the case. And it has more to do with them than me. They want to grab a hold of you, and claim you. So, they're going to do that. That's their way of doing it. I'm not making it up. It's just that that's the way they do business over here. Margie Ovita says face red, heart shape. I don't know. What's that mean? Anybody know what that means, guys?
Face red,
Oh, T. Williams. He says, I know that's right. He says, maybe that's an age thing. He says he wants it at a reasonable distance during the entire trial period. Which this is where I'm at now. This is where I'm at now. I'm thinking why can't we have our separate places? Why can't you have your place and I have mine? I guarantee you we'll probably stay together longer because the marriage rate in America, the divorce rate is really bad. And, everybody, when they get married, nobody says, I'm going to get divorced. But then you look up and what is it? 50% of new marriages are ending in 1 year over there now. It's crazy. He says it's best to keep the person that is close to you intimately, physically close. Why is that? You can't just say, oh, it's best to keep them close without telling us why. Why is that? Now, the Filipina says, meet first to your Filipino before you invest anything. And this is coming from a Filipino. She says, stop sending money over here, guys, till you meet the woman. If she can't pass the taste, touch, and smell test, then don't send anything. He says that's why they call it consummation. Paperwork just comes after. Yeah. Now, I forgot to give y'all the exchange rate, 54.64. Now, so you've got Phil-Am children then, right, Chris?
I do. Two.
Do they come over here? Do they visit the Philippines?
They've been there. They've been there once. Hoping to get them back this year or definitely next year.
How old are your children?
Little ones are 11 and 12.
Yeah. Now, I love LaChan says it takes over $200,000 to live comfortably in San Diego now. That's a lot of money, man. How many people are earning that kind of money?
A lot of stress.
I mean, that's a lot of money right there. Now, you can live comfortably for $100,000, but it's not a lot of money. You're not going to have a whole lot of savings taking care of 4 children, and they steadily growing up. I had 4 daughters, man. And whenever it was one daughter's birthday, I had to buy for all 4 of them. I couldn't just bring one pair of Jordans in for the birthday because then the other 3 is going to be sitting around with long faces. So I did that, man, for 15 years. That's crazy, man. That's just how it is over there. Do you have any children, Sway?
No, I'm from America, the land of the disposable kid.
Oh, wow. So you don't have any children?
No, I guess they didn't want my kids inheriting their family's estate, so they made sure it wouldn't happen.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the other reasons why I wanted to get away from that situation,
Yeah. Right. He says, rice has protein. Yeah. It's about 6%. I just looked that up because I wanted to make sure, but hell, 6% of the daily suggested protein account. So I guess you have to back that up with chicken and everything else to get your daily ration of protein, because look this up if you don't believe me. 50% of Filipino adults are lacking in protein over here because of their diet.
I can believe it.
And they're also diabetic because they eat rice every day, and rice is like 50% sugar.
Carbohydrates. That's
Yeah,
right.
and so
Too
it
much.
just kills your blood insulin.
Mm.
Yeah, and then I want to say 95% of Filipino adults have don't have the right amount of calcium because they stop. Now, you know, if you come over here, you're going to see that Filipinos, their kids, they drink a lot of milk, but as they grow up, they stop drinking milk. So they don't have the right amount of calcium. So that's why when you see a lot of Filipinos, they're the way that they are. They're built the way they are. And then when you take them to America and they start eating all that food every day, they blow up, man. My wife gained 60 pounds. I remember I was shocked, man. I was really disappointed. I mean, you can imagine. But, you know, I'm not shallow. I mean, it's my wife, and I'm like, well, damn, I just divorced Big Shirley. Now I got Big Maria over here with me now. And I was disappointed, man.
Mm.
And I remember the first time we went to the casino, one of my clients saw us and, you know, and asked me, pulled me to the side. She's an older lady and asked me when she was having the baby, man. And I could have just melted into the damn carpet. And it was just a mental thing with me. It was a mental struggle with me over there with her that she picked up all that weight, man. I was really disappointed. And I never told her. I probably should have. Devon says, here's a question for y'all. I'm 31 and planning my future in the Philippines. I have my finances and my life together, and it took 5 years. I'm ready to have a family. Would you suggest meeting the woman of my life? Well, at 31, man, you still got a lot of living to do. Remember the 18 to 80 blind, crippled, or crazy? It's in effect over here. You shouldn't be in any hurry to find a woman over here. And who's to say that the woman of your dreams is over here? Hell, you're 31, so you still got a chance at meeting the woman of your dreams in America. When I was 31, I wasn't thinking about moving overseas. I was still chasing the American dream.
No, but I think that's the best time to do it while you're young. You can get a good situation. Plus, it takes time to establish yourself here. I think Asia's where it's at.
Bro, you keep saying that and catch Merle in a bad mood. Your separate place might be under the guest house. Stop playing with my dude. No, we were talking about that this morning. It doesn't apply to me. It's too late. But I'm saying, we were just talking about, why do these relationships, period, not just Filipino and foreigner relationships, but marriages, period, why aren't they working out? And, I said, well, I think cohabitation ruins a lot of relationships. I think we take each other for granted. You see each other every damn day. There's no secrets. There's no element of surprise. You know how when you first meet the woman, you're not living together. Them are some of the best times that you have. You're going out, you're dressing up in the mirror. Now, hell, I don't hardly do anything. It's just normal now because she's here. You know what I'm saying? But today, I'm taking her out. We're going out. Me and Merlin, we're going to get a hotel. And we're going to have dinner. We're just going to go out on a date to try to mix it up. But, yeah, I think if I could afford it, if I'm you and you talk about coming over here and you want to take her out of the squatters area or the province, give her a $6,000 or $7,000 a month apartment, and then you have your own and see how that works out.
Well, I got to say this though. There's one problem with living alone here, and that's girls will show up and they'll sabotage your relationship too. I've had this happen where girls show up, they'll knock on your door, your girlfriend's coming. And then the locals would be like, "Why was that girl like knocking on your door?" And then they tell your girlfriend, and then she's like, "Well, how many girls have you had over here since the last time you saw me?" And I'm like, "None." She's like, "Well, why was that girl knocking on your door?" Like the whole thing. It's like, here we go.
Wow.
And these people will sabotage your relationship. They do it on purpose.
Yeah, but see, if your woman knows you, though, she knows that, okay, what's going on? Is that a dreamer? Because
she's the one who threw the drink in my face. You know how mad she was when she found out some strange girl was knocking on my door? She was going to kill me.
Yeah, but see, that's her problem, not yours. And you're always going to have that problem whether you live together or not, that insecurity. But here's one thing that I know over here. Filipinas and Filipinos will dry snitch on you in a minute.
That's right.
That's what that woman was doing when I was in that hotel lobby with that dreamer. This Filipino was dry snitching. She's telling everything that she knows about me to the girl. But that's not the first time it happened. When I first came to the Philippines, the very first time I went to Tamboli Beach Resort in Lapu-Lapu, right? I spent 10 days there. So fast forward 2 months later, I come back to the Philippines. I'm with a different woman. I go back to the Tamboli Beach Resort. And don't you know all them vendors and all the people I was patronizing? Don't you know they told the new girl he was just here with somebody else? And I'm like, because we come back to the room and she's crying and everything. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Well, they told me you was here with another woman. I'm like, yeah, before I ever met you. They know who you was. But they dry snitch on you like that, guys. So be careful.
And the security guards will tell your girlfriend everything you've done for the last week, how many beers you had, what time you came home, the whole situation. So she's, even before she gets into to your place, she's already been briefed.
That's a fact. I had a friend. He said, man, I don't know how my girlfriend, well, it's not his girlfriend, but it's like his main squeeze or something, because he lives by himself. He's like, she called me, I know you got other women up there, and he's trying to figure out how she knows. And I told him, I said, them security guards downstairs that already told, they telling her everything you do. That's one of the things, the first thing she did was cozy up to them security guards, and now she can ask them. And they're going to tell her. They're loyal to the Filipina. They're not loyal to you.
That's right. That's right. So if there's any kind of argument in public, you're the one to blame. If anything happens here, they're always going to come over and stand next to you.
Hey, Gary, what's going on? He said, Calvin, keep up your good work, and hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, we got about 8 minutes, man. I want to kind of let my panel kind of take over. Is anything you want to talk about? Any advice you got to give guys, Chris, who are thinking about coming to the Philippines or chatting with a Filipino or anything?
Take your time. It's, you can't stress enough the cultural differences. The food is different. Just take your time. Take your time. And just remember, maybe not in America, but over there, you are the prize.
Yeah. See, say that one more time.
Maybe not in America, but over there, you are the prize.
For some reason, we don't understand that. We can't get that. It's so foreign to us, right?
It's different.
We get off the plane chasing women.
Right.
And they're not going anywhere. It's like, what are you chasing women for, man? Let them chase you. Just stand still. When you make sure you done took a bath and you got on clean clothes. And, at least, because they don't like funky men over here. But that's basically all you have to do. Somebody's going to find you. You know why? Because they're looking. Okay, they're looking. They're going to find you. Just be patient. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. TJ, thanks for that super chat. He says, I now know what Kanye was thinking when he confusedly exclaimed, "How, Sway? Where'd you get that name from?"
A sheriff's deputy from Oakland came here, and he just started calling me Sway, and he was like 300 pounds, so I just had to go along with it.
And somebody up here asked me, how
I've
did
been
I meet you? And you sent me an email. That's how I met you. And you told me you was an award-winning writer on the Philippines. I
Screenwriter.
said, well,
I write martial arts movies, and Philippines has one of the best martial arts systems in the world. All the military come here to train.
Oh wow!
Even special forces come here to train because we have the best. We have the best knife grappling techniques.
Billy says your opinion. And I want both of y'all's opinion on this too, okay? He says, what is the age to chase your dream in the field? I'm going to say 50, and I'm going to tell you why. Because by that time, you know whether you know the ins and outs, the ups and downs of wherever you're from. You had enough life experiences that you can weigh it up against. And you probably got some savings or some type of residual income somewhere. You know, you just got enough life experiences by that time. Anything less than that, I don't know, man. It's really going to be hard over here because you need money over here. Even though it's a lot cheaper to live in the Philippines than in America, you still need some money coming in.
Mm.
But I mean,
what about you, Chris? Do you have what do you think?
I mean, I think 50 is probably a good age, or as soon as you have some type of residual, you know, like some people go in the military when they're 18, so they can retire when they're 38, you know, but most people, you know, probably not going to have that luxury at, you know, in their 30s. Like I'm retired right now, fire, and we can retire at 50. So right now, I mean, I could sell everything and leave if I wanted to, and I would be comfortable there. Yeah. And like I said, I think my previous experience, I was just a little too young. I think I was too young, and I wasn't ready. You know, I didn't know what I was walking into. Yeah.
And some people, I say this all the time. I need to make a real clear video about it. But some people just need a vacation. Some people don't need to move over here. You just need a vacation. But some people need to vacate. They need to leave their situation. And only you are going to know which one you are. But it won't take but a couple of weeks over here and you'll figure it out. You'll be like, yeah, it's time for me to go back home. And then for some people, it's like, man, I need to stay. But everybody doesn't need to come over here to live because it's not an easy thing to do.
I think this guy's comment here is totally right here because every time I go to a bar, the people tell me, well, I just finished my divorce. I got about half of my assets left. So now they have to live in the Philippines because they just lost half of their life's earnings from marrying an American. So
wow.
That's not a good plan. I think you should come here early. Come here in your 30s. Don't get caught up with American women and lose all your money.
Now he's talking about, okay, the problem in America is child support. Let's talk about child support first. You're going to have to take care of your children, whether the court mandates that or not. Okay, it's probably
you can raise kids here for like $200 a month.
You're probably going to pay more if you do it on your own. If you let the court, decide, you're probably going to cheat your child. I mean, I would just say do the right thing. You got to take care of your child. Anyway, I don't understand what it is about this child support. I don't get that. I don't understand that. You got to take care of your children, man. And I don't understand that, man. I mean, the girl uses the court to get at you, but she's really getting at the child because, man, listen, I was giving my wife, before these people got in her mind, because I was earning big money, man. I was a successful insurance agent. I had a small agency. I had like 20 guys under my contract. I was earning big money. I was giving her $2,500 a month, just to take care of my kids.
Wow.
You know what she did? Somebody got in her mind and said, yeah, you need to take him to child support court, right? Guess what the child support did? They cut it in half. They said you only have to send her $1,200 now. Okay? Because she didn't take in effect that, stupid, you got a daycare that you're earning money from. The court is going to look at what I'm earning and what you earning and come up, do whatever it is they do to figure out how much I have to give you.
Right.
Okay? And because a lot of my income was commission, they didn't count all of my income. So she cheated herself out of $1,300. Cheated my kids out of $1,300 really. So I gave her the $1,200, but I still took care of my kids. But I don't get this argument with this child support. You got to do that anyway, guys. I'm sorry. Now, divorce, that's another thing. Now, I don't know if it can destroy you for 18 to 25 years, but why don't we ever think about this stuff before we get married?
There's no child support.
Over.
If you're a Muslim and the woman leaves, you keep the children. There's no child support.
I just don't get the child support argument. Chris, they don't have to make you take care of your children, do they?
No. Like she has custody, but they're with me half the time. And yeah. I mean, and it's the same thing, I do, I take pride in being a dad. So I do so much more for them than what I'm supposed to per the court. So I don't think I'll ever be back in court because, like I said, I do way more than what I've been asked to do officially through the court system. And it was the same way with my older daughter too, with my first wife.
Yeah, but of course nobody gets married and says, "Oh, we're going to get divorced." We don't think about it, but we have so many conversations about it now, especially in that manosphere. See, if I was in America, if I ever had to go back to America, I would change my whole Facebook. My whole YouTube, because I wouldn't want to talk about the Philippines living in America. But I would enter into that manosphere. It's lucrative over there. And men are really angry, with, what's going on with them over there.
Right.
But child support is not something that I would agree on, man. You got to take care of your kids, guys. I'm sorry. We just have to argue about that all day. Now, Tom DKK says, hey, Cal, UConn 63, San Diego State 55. 3 minutes left. This is something that I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I used to be a diehard college basketball fan. I don't even watch it anymore. I had no idea UConn was as dominant as they are this year. I had no idea.
Not to belabor the point, but one of my friends had back child support that he owed. So they canceled his driver's license and his passport. Wow. And so how is he supposed to go to work to get the money that he owes when he can't renew his driver's license? It doesn't even make sense. So no, you don't want these people getting in you don't want this family court crap crawling up your butt. That's why I'm telling you, just avoid America. Don't get married in America. It's the dumbest thing you could ever do. You lose all your rights as a man. Sorry.
I agree.
You got to realize America's got great public transportation, though. So that's not so the court's looking at him like, I'm not saying it's not right. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying they're looking at him like, you get your butt on that TARC. Because that's what
he lives in rural New Hampshire.
To work back and forth. And, when you're dealing with that court, that's what happens. The minute you go to child support court, you're behind because they're going to look at how old the baby is. They're going to start from the time the baby was born. So you're always going to be behind. You got to do something to catch that up. Is that right, what they're doing? No, it's not right. But I don't make the laws. Yeah, they're going to take your passport because guess what? If some guys owe a certain amount, they're going to skip the country rather than pay. Don't you think?
They're not going to do it to me.
Now they're getting, because there's more to having children than child support. I'm so thankful, man, for my children, Can it be a headache? Yeah, but you never think about that when you're laying down with a woman. You laying down with a headache. You're going to get up with a damn headache. I'm sorry, man, but that's what we do. This woman ain't got good sense when you lay down with her. You expecting a miracle when you break up, like she's going to see the damn light. She was ignorant when you was dealing with her. That's probably why you was dealing with her, because she was ignorant. Ricardo Rush says, I have a friend there on vacation. It's not his first time visiting there. He met a 30-year-old Filipina. She works in a club. Everything about this woman was a yes to him. So much he could not have sex. What is that? What do you mean? I don't get it. Let's read this again. I have a friend there on vacation. It's not his first time visiting there. He met a 30-year-old Filipina. She works in a club. Everything about this woman was a yes to him. So much he could not have sex. What's that?
Maybe
what do you mean? Gave it to him too much that he couldn't have it anymore? Or what is that?
I think he said he was in awe of the woman. Like she was like,
oh, okay. Well, hell, she works in a club. What kind of club?
That's not a good sign.
It's definitely not a good start.
Yeah, you don't want to be dating club girls in the Philippines.
But see, even over here, that's our culture. We look at it as a bad thing. Over here, they look at it as a way to take care of the family and pay the bills.
Thank you.
I talked to a guy, John, of what's the name of his? The guy with the tour guide. Anyway, he said they don't look down on bar girls over here, but we do. He said they understand. Man, look, the picture that most of us don't get that watch these videos is really how hard it is over here. We see it, we see the poverty, but for some reason we don't believe it. We paying attention to everything else. So when a woman says, oh yeah, well, I got to sell my body to make ends meet, we look down on her. Or when you get over here and the woman says, hey, can you my mother, can you buy them some rice this month? Or whatever it is. We rebel. But man, it's tough over here. You've been over here, Chris. You live over here, Sway. How hard is it for some people in the Philippines just to live from day to day?
I mean, yeah, there's people here that live on like 50 cents a day,
Yeah, the average American can't even wrap their mind around that type of poverty. They just can't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no safety nets over here. There's no food stamps. See, the tax base is not big enough over here. That's the problem. We complain about the taxes over in America, but that's the reason why we've got all them safety nets over there. I'd rather see my tax dollars in action than not see them at all. So you got disability, you got unemployment insurance, you got food stamps, AFDC, you got
DFACS, you got child protective services. You don't have that in the Philippines.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff over here that over there that our tax dollars is paying for, man. I mean, unemployment insurance, we take that for granted. If you lose your job over here, you just lose your job. You better find another one. It's not okay, well, I got fired or I got laid off. I'm going to go up here, and not only are they going to help me find me another job, but they're going to give me X amount of dollars every 2 weeks. Right. What about food stamps, man? Come on. I'm a child of food stamps. When my father left, my mother went on food stamps, man. I know how important that is. Do you think there would be food stamps if it wasn't for our tax money? Same with the military.
The stores here will feed the homeless people. I've seen it happen many times where there's a guy covered in dirt and he just walks over, and someone running like a lunch place will just make a plate for him and bring it out and give it to him. So the community feeds the homeless here. They take care of people.
Well, Perry Hendrickson says, I'm not talented like you. How would I live? What do you mean? You look, according to your picture, you look old enough to be drawing Social Security. I mean, you guys don't understand. If you're talking about having a YouTube channel, don't you know how hard it is to get monetized on YouTube? Ask Sway. Are you monetized, Sway?
Not even close.
Everybody that you see monetized over here in the Philippines, don't act and talk. There's 10,000 people who are not monetized. It's not as easy as y'all make it out to be. They think, oh, them guys go over there and start up these YouTube channels. Like, all you got to do is start a YouTube channel and Google starts sending you money every month. I'm sorry, man. A lot of luck goes into this, buddy. And it's not easy, because if it was, everybody would be doing it. Now, everybody's trying to do it, but no, it's hard as hell. Okay?
It takes time to establish, maybe like 2 years. That's what most people do. It's what it really takes. But sometimes you get a pandemic and a lockdown that'll help you, like it helped me. Sometimes you'll get a guy like me that will bring you on his panel and push you out there. You forego the algorithm, because, I've done so many like that, where, the algorithm means nothing to you. The True Girls, Sharon Lapu Lapu, Raja and Ismi. I can name more and more that I've helped actually just throw them out there like that. But for the most of us, we got to be talking into the universe for 2 years before anybody ever hears about you. And then even if they do, you're not going to earn anything. You're not going to get rich doing this unless you're one of these big guys. All you got to do is look, okay, y'all think I'm living a extravagant lifestyle. I earn about $30,000 a year on YouTube. And you say, oh, man, that's a lot of money, man. Well, compared to who? Compared to who, man? I'm one of the small ones over here.
Yeah.
Okay? All you got to do is look at my numbers. If you want to know how much everybody else is earning, I'm telling you facts. I earn about 30. The guy, I'm going to tell you who's real open and transparent. Dan, a Vagabond Awakes, he shows you every now and then what he earns. He earns anywhere between $4,500 and $9,500 a month, guys. Wow. That's a lot of damn money. So all you got to do, if you want to get into your mindset, like, well, how much is Filipino P earning? How much is Old Dog? How much is Mark? Just look at their numbers based on my numbers. And
yeah, but she works hard.
Some of these people are getting rich. And I'm
these
not
people are working hard.
That guy thinks that everybody's doing it. It's hard to do. And then once you do it, it's not, once you get monetized, you can't just sit back and stop making content. YouTube works on a rotating 28-day cycle. So if I've got a video that's got 100,000 views, guess what? In 29 days, it's going to be gone off of my cycle. All right? I'm not even going to get paid for that anymore as far as, it's out of my cycle. They average your views and stuff like that, guys. It's not easy. You got to maintain that 4,000 watch time hours. You think that's easy? You better be making some damn good content, or some content people can relate to. You don't have nothing coming, okay? I'm sorry. Michael Alexander, thanks again, brother, for that super chat, man. I mean, when I first started out, let's see, it's a difference with live streams, because I feel I'm earning the support on live streams. But when you first start out in YouTube and you got good content and you got people who can relate to you, they'll support you. They'll support you. They'll send you money, PayPal, Patreon, like that, right? But as you get established, that will dry up. See, my PayPal's dried up. I promise you, man. I probably get, and I'm not complaining. I probably get about $25 to maybe $40 a month from PayPal. I mean, it's free money, but there was a time when I first started out, before I was monetized, because people want you to continue to do. I would get $500, $600 a month on PayPal.
Wow.
Because they want you to keep going. It's hard on YouTube, man. Trust me. I wouldn't lie to you. But when you get guys on here and they make it look like, oh, it's just so easy, and that's why y'all go to the Philippines to start a channel. They have they know nothing about what they're talking about. This is the reason why I'm starting to write. I'm starting to do other things because I don't want it all to be about YouTube. Eventually, I may get tired of YouTube myself. You know, so if this book I'm writing, if it does what I think it can do, I may just, do live streams. I may not even do videos anymore. It's hard to say.
That's why I was trying to do merchandising.
Well, I don't want to do that because I'm on a tourist visa. See, I can only do this, really. BRI is not going to bother me as long as I'm doing this. And this is one thing that a lot of these trolls, a lot of these haters and instigators, they don't understand. I'm not an influencer. I'm not selling anything. These are the ones that are in trouble because if I'm selling goods and services, now I'm working in the Philippines. Okay? But if I'm just got my YouTube channel, I'm working remotely from the Philippines. And if they came to me and said, Calvin, look, you need to pay us X amount of taxes every year for doing your YouTube channel, I would absolutely do it. But you know what else I would do? The minute they did that, I would go out and get my license for charity or whatever it is. And then I turn that Sunshine Shoulders Facebook into charity. Then I say, okay, now take off from my taxes what I'm giving to charity, which, it's just a whole other story, guys. But every time I see guys post stuff like that, I have to explain to them, man, YouTube is not easy. And, Dio said, sorry, Cal, bar girls in any country exponentially increases your risk of trouble. I would never marry a bar girl, just like I would never marry a sugar baby. Yeah, but that's not what we're saying. We never said that. And how would you know, Neil? How are you so damn smart that you would know who a bar girl is unless she told you? Because a Filipino puts on a skinny jeans and them little blouses that they wear and them little sleeveless tops. You don't know if she works in a bar, if she works at Save More. How would you know? You wouldn't know. But thank y'all so much for your super chats, your super stickers, your thumbs up, all your support of Sunshine Shoulders. Thanks to my panel. I'm going to give y'all the last word. Give us something good, Chris, to go out on over here, man.
Simple. These words. You go to the Philippines, you are the prize.
All right, Sway, give us something good to
I just
think for the rest of the day.
Go where you wanted. And I found a place where people want me. Everyone's happy to see me here. So this is where I am. It's really simple like that.
Cool.
Yeah, guys. It's all about self-improvement, man. Pick up a book, man. Start writing. Start exercising. Start helping people. Start creating a legacy if you haven't already left a legacy already. It's never too old, man, to improve. But it starts and ends with us. The Philippines and the Philippines is just a temporary solution, man. You're going to have to make some changes. If you can't get it done in America, what makes you think you're going to come over here and get it done? When you pass that international time zone, you're not going to magically turn into somebody else. You're going to be the same person you were over here as you are over there. So if you don't got it together over there, get it together. Then come over here. Take care, everybody. Let me put on my boots on the ground. He's gonna remix this for me, by the way. I
Okay.
asked him to.
The real nitty gritty. Boots on the ground. The real nitty gritty. Boots on the ground. The real nitty gritty. Boots on the ground. The real nitty gritty. Boots on the ground.
But then on second thought, I don't think I'm gonna let him mess with it. If it ain't broke, I'm certainly not gonna break it. But thanks, Brandon Pumphrey, for that super chat. He says, I read an article this week that passports in the USA are 3+ months wait times and increasing. Word to the wise, get started now. The dollar's crashing too. Wow. Well, it's 54.64 over here, which is up a third of a peso from yesterday. Now, my son, I got his passport done last June for him to go back to America. It was less than 30 days. I don't know, maybe it's because we did it in the consulate over here. But somebody else told me that. It normally takes 6 to 8 weeks, but you know you can pay that extra money and get it expedited, which I never wait on mine. I always pay that extra, what is it, $100 or something? Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks again, man. I'm going to have y'all on here again.
Appreciate it.
Chris, because I want you to go into a little bit more detail on your situation.
Okay.
I mean, not that's going to get you in trouble, though. You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate it. It'd be an honor.
Okay. Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Love and peace.
Peace out.